Alright, okay, so welcome back to another video. In this video, we've got quite a nice comparison going on here. We've got the LG X Boom ON5, £300, JVC MX-D528B, £130, the Panasonic SC T-Max 10E-K, brilliant names for these two, and obviously the JBL Party Box 110 on the end. Just for a comparison, really. I know it's not really in the same budget or anything as these. It's also battery powered, whereas these have to be mains powered. So it is a slightly different market, but it's just there because I feel like that's a more common speaker. People know what it sounds like. People might own them. So if you know what that sounds like compared to this, you can tell, if you know what I mean. So I'm just throwing it in there for comparison. Feel free to completely ignore it if you want to. But I'm going to put it in there for a comparison. These are, yeah, well, party speakers, obviously. I'd say the three on the left here are quite aimed at a budget range. We're looking at 300, 130, and 230 pounds. You know, a pretty standard price, I suppose. The LG being on the pricier side there. Maybe when it shouldn't be, if I'm honest. But we'll see after the test. Just a quick run through the stats. The LG X Boom ON5 has two 2-inch tweeters at the top there and one 8-inch woofer. It's got radio, remote, it weighs 14.1 kilos, mic and guitar inputs, all of that jazz. Doesn't actually give us a wattage output, but I would probably guess 250-ish. We've got the JVC, £130, as I've said, two tweeters right at the top there, that's what I'm focusing, and the two woofers. So we've got a little bit of a better sound stage than the LG already going on there. 200 watt, that does state. Has a radio, weighs just shy of 11 kilos, so a little less than the LG. Again, mic and guitar input. Then we've got the Panasonic, which is £230. Got two tweeters, obviously, up the top, and one bigger woofer. 300 watt of output, apparently, from that. Got a remote, radio, all of that, 10.7 kilos, so a very similar weight to the JVC. Both are 3 kilos lighter than the X Boom, so might be quite interesting there. And then we do have the Party Box 110 on the end, retails for £350. Has I believe it's a 160 watt output. So ironic that, seeing as I already know that sounds better than these three. Ironic that the Panasonic stays 300, but it all kind of depends on how wattage is measured, whether it's output or RMS, stuff like that. So these are all rough guides. Obviously, what we really want to hear is the actual sound test. So we're going to be going for that now. I'm gonna try and cut it up the best I can. I know there's a lot of speakers to cut through in one song here, so yeah, I'm going to try and get the best out of each one. They're all going to be at 80% volume. I've got no bias to any of these here. This is just a test. So I'm going to start with the LG, move along, cut it throughout the song, and then we'll speak about the sound afterwards. All going to be 80% volume. Off we go.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. We're searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stand 'cause the flames will burn. Thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold you long while the pain was over. If you walk by the roaring sea, you meant the world to me. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. I prayed for you and kept you near, and hopes you chased washed away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so. And now I'm chasing nightmares, but you through the great big leaves. Laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home is just you and me. Thought you were the one for me. That's why I give you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh. Thought you were the one for me. That's why I give you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. You meant the world to me. That's why I give you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Okay, so we finished our sound test. 23 minutes later from my end, hopefully a lot shorter from yours. And yeah, I think that's a brilliant comparison, really, because it shows maybe as well that the companies with bigger brands, especially the LG one here, they think that they've got their names so they don't actually have to try very much. Because frankly, the LG one's the bottom of the list here for me, especially with that £300 price tag. Whereas the JVC is 130 and blows it out of the park. And Panasonic as well, and I know they're both relatively big names, but not as in the speaker space so much. Whereas LG and the JBL one, to my ears anyway, is the best by far here. But considering that Panasonic and JVC had, aren't really in this space as much, they're not as far behind as you'd think. And maybe that shows that the ones with bigger names just don't try as hard. Because the Panasonic one especially has really blown me away here. The lights are disappointing. So maybe overall the JVC one is the best. Well, definitely best for money here. Definitely nicest designed as well. All of that. So yeah, but it's a nice comparison, and I think it shows a lot into how you can get one that you can get a brand which maybe isn't as popular, isn't as expensive, isn't as talked about, but actually you're still getting quite good sound, because at the end of the day it's just a cone, isn't it? So yeah, it's quite nice to see that you don't have to spend the moon to get proper good sound. So the JVC one here is really blown me away. If you've got any questions, obviously pop them down in the comments. I will do my best to reply, and I hope this was useful.